And in the introduction discusses kind of the main thread through the whole book is the logos, right? And the logos, to me, means the truth. It is the way. It is the originary, fundamental principle of reality, of being itself. It's the fundamental pattern of life that is available for us to follow and to use as a compass and a guide. And the logos is obviously mentioned through the Bible quite a bit, but the introduction in the first part of the book discusses how prior to Christ, how pre-Christian societies, philosophies had discovered, intuited the logos before ultimately became made flesh in Jesus Christ. Before that, the Taoists in Lao Tzu, the ancient Greeks, they all would see and feel and intuit the logos and how to best live a virtuous life, how to develop as a person, how to treat others in relationships, but also how the truth manifests itself in nature and the way that a flower grows, the logic behind a tree growing from a seed to an oak, and how these different seemingly disparate ways of life coming into being all are contained in this idea of the logos. So the part one of the book goes over kind of a dual frame of looking at the truth through the eyes of Lao Tzu, which they call the ancient sage, and through the way when he became flesh, which is obviously about Jesus Christ. So part one is essentially the Enads. Part two of the book, which is titled The Unfolding Revelation of the Tao in Human History, was really wonderful. And it started in chapter one, which is entitled The Departure from the Way. Chapter two is Seeking the Way of Return. It talks about a lot of the different philosophies, a lot of different concepts in the East, like nothingness, the oneness of the Tao, the mystery of the day. So the Tao is being the truth, the logos. The day, T-E-H, is the activity of the Holy Spirit. It's the activity of God in humanity, in the world, that brings us closer to the path, the way, the truth, the logos. A lot of times we fall, we sin, again, which sin is the Greek word amartia, which means to miss the mark. It's a term from archery. Chapter 3 is When the Way Became Flesh. Part 3, which was my favorite part of the book, the heart of the book, it's entitled Uniting Oneself to the Incarnate Tao Through Watchfulness and Prayer. Changing the Eye of the Soul. God became man that man might become God. What does that mean? I highly recommend the book. If you're interested in these topics and if you've listened through here, I want to thank you for listening.